Imagine a U.S. Navy warship swallowed by a swirling green fog, vanishing from its dock in an instant, only to reappear hundreds of miles away, its crew fused into the metal bulkheads, driven insane, or simply erased from reality. In the heart of World War II, on October 28, 1943, the Philadelphia experiment allegedly transformed the USS Eldridge from a routine destroyer into a vessel of nightmares, testing invisibility and teleportation in a secret government operation that went catastrophically wrong. Whispers of Albert Einstein's groundbreaking theories, Nikola Tesla's enigmatic inventions, and a deep-rooted military cover-up have kept this conspiracy alive for over 8 decades. Was it a desperate bid for wartime superiority, harnessing forces beyond human control to render ships unseen by enemy radar? Or a gateway to another dimension, bending time and space with unintended horrors? Perhaps it's the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on the American public, a tale spun from sailor superstitions and Cold War paranoia. Over the years, this story has entangled anonymous letters, declassified documents, and tragic deaths, yet definitive proof remains elusive, buried in shadows. Today, we're going to embark on a deep dive into this captivating enigma, tracing its origins through the fog of war, unraveling the escalating rumors that captivated a nation, and probing the theories that challenge our understanding of reality. So join me as we navigate the murky waters of fact and fiction, separating the plausible from the impossible in one of history's most persistent and chilling conspiracies. To fully comprehend the Philadelphia experiment, we need to step back into the turbulent world of 1943, when America was locked in a global conflict that demanded every technological edge. World War II had turned the seas into deadly battlegrounds, with U-boats sinking Allied convoys at alarming rates. The U.S. Navy, under immense pressure, poured resources into experimental programs to protect their fleets. One such innovation was degaussing, a process where ships were wrapped in massive electrical coils to demagnetize their hulls, rendering them invisible to magnetic detonators on mines and torpedoes. This wasn't science fiction. It was practical engineering, tested on vessels like the USS Eldridge, a Cannon-class destroyer escort commissioned in July 1943. You see, the Eldridge was no glamorous battleship. It was a workhorse, 306 feet long, armed with torpedoes and depth charges for anti-submarine warfare, crewed by about 200 men and stationed at the bustling Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. Sailors at the yard spoke in hushed tones about unusual activity. Massive generators rumbling through the night, strange electromagnetic hums, and flickering lights that danced across the water. Could these have been mere routine tests or something more ambitious? The conspiracy's intellectual foundations reached back to the giants of physics. Albert Einstein, working on his unified field theory since the 1920s, sought to merge gravity and electromagnetism into a single framework. A concept that, in theory, could manipulate light, create optical illusions, or even warp space-time. Though Einstein consulted for the Navy on unrelated projects, conspiracists claim his ideas were co-opted for Project Rainbow, a supposed cloak of invisibility. Then there's Nikola Tesla, the visionary inventor whose work on alternating current and wireless energy transmission included experiments in radar jamming and electromagnetic fields. Tesla's death in January 1943, just months before the alleged experiment, has led some to speculate he was silenced or his notes seized. The story, however, did not erupt overnight. It simmered for years before boiling over. The first real spark came in the 1950s amid America's UFO craze and McCarthy-era suspicions. Morris K. Jessup, a Michigan astronomer with a passion for ancient mysteries and extraterrestrial propulsion, published The Case for the UFO in 1955. His book explored how UFOs might use anti-gravity or magnetic fields to defy physics, drawing on reports from pilots and sailors. Jessup's work caught the attention of a peculiar correspondent, Carl Allen, who signed his letters as Carlos Miguel Allende. In 1956, Allen mailed Jessup a series of rambling missives claiming he had witnessed the Eldridge's fate firsthand from aboard the merchant ship SS Andrew Forsyth. He described a test on October 28, 1943, where powerful generators activated, enveloping the Eldridge in a greenish haze. The ship faded from view, he said, disappearing for several minutes before rematerializing with catastrophic results. Sailors embedded in steel like human sculptures, others gibbering incoherently or vanishing entirely. Allen warned Jessup that pursuing the truth was dangerous, hinting at brainwashing and murders to keep the secret. Jessup, intrigued but skeptical, forwarded the letters to the Office of Naval Research, ONR, where they were reviewed but dismissed as the ravings of a crank. Yet the ONR curiously reprinted Jessup's book with Allen's annotations in a limited Varro edition, fueling speculation of official interest. Jessup's sudden death in 1959, found in his car with a hose from the exhaust pipe, ruled a suicide. But conspiracists cry foul, pointing to his recent excitement over new leads. His post-war atmosphere of secrecy, with projects like MKUltra and Roswell fresh in minds, provided fertile ground for the legend to grow. Was the Philadelphia experiment a real operation cloaked in denial, or a manifestation of collective anxiety in an age of atomic fears? The conspiracy gained momentum in the 1970s, a decade of Watergate distrust and an occult fascination, when Charles Berlitz and William Moore published the Philadelphia Experiment, Project Invisibility, in 1979. Berlitz, famous for his Bermuda Triangle books, and Moore, a UFO researcher, expanded on Allen's letters, framing the event as a Navy test gone awry. They detailed the October 28, 1943 incident at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. The Eldridge was fitted with massive degaussing coils and Tesla-inspired generators. When activated, a blue glow turned green, and the ship vanished from radar and sight for 4 hours, not minutes, as Allen said. It reportedly teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, where dockworkers saw it materialize briefly before snapping back to Philadelphia. Upon return, horror unfolded. Crew members fused into the ship's structure, some on fire, others dematerialized or stuck in time loops, reliving the event endlessly. Berlitz cited anonymous sailors and leaked memos claiming 40 crew died or went insane, with survivors sworn to silence or brainwashed. The book's success led to the 1984 film The Philadelphia Experiment, directed by Stuart Reffel, which romanticized the tale with time travel romance, grossing over $8 million and embedding it in pop culture. Skeptics countered with facts. Navy logs show the Eldridge was undergoing routine shakedown cruises in the Bahamas in late 1943, not teleporting. No unusual incidents appear in official records, and degaussing was a standard, not exotic. Allen's credibility collapsed. Born Carl Meredith Allen in 1925. He was a Pennsylvania drifter with a history of mental illness and forgery. His letters riddled with inconsistencies like changing dates and names. Yet the Navy's vague denials no such experiment occurred, and redacting WW2 files kept doubts alive. In the 1980s, the story intertwined with the Montauk Project, an alleged extension at Camp Hero, New York, involving mind control and time portals. Witnesses like Preston Nichols claimed psychic experiments based on Philadelphia tech, but no evidence surfaced. The escalation turned a whisper into a roar. But was it truth amplified or fiction embellished? As the legend persisted, who stepped up to investigate, and what did they uncover? From skeptical historians to passionate UFOologists, if that is even how you say it, let's examine the key players, the probes that poked holes, and the controversies that refused to die. Morris K. Jessup unwittingly became the conspiracy's patron saint. His 1955 book on UFOs drew Allen's letters, which he shared with the Navy in 1956. The Office of Naval Research, intrigued by the annotations, reprinted a small run of the book for internal review, but concluded it was nonsense. Jessup pressed Allen for proof, but the correspondence ended abruptly, leaving Jessup despondent. His 1959 death in Miami, carbon monoxide poisoning in his car, was ruled suicide amid personal troubles. For conspiracists note, his recent enthusiasm for new informants suggested foul play. Carl Allen, The enigma at the center claimed to be a gypsy descendant with inside knowledge, but investigations by Moore revealed him as a troubled veteran who annotated books with wild theories. Allen died in 1994 in Colorado, taking secrets to the grave. Charles Berlitz and William Moore dove deepest, interviewing alleged survivors in the 1970s. They spoke to Dr. Franklin Reno, a pseudonym for a supposed scientist involved, who described electromagnetic fields creating an optical mirage, but Reno was untraceable and other witnesses recanted. Historians like Paul Begg and James Mosley debunked in the 1980s, tracing the story to sailor pranks about degaussing, making ships disappear from mines. Freedom of Information Act requests yielded thousands of pages on World War II tech, but nothing on teleportation. Redactions only stoked fires. Alfred Balick, a self-proclaimed survivor, claimed in 1998 he was thrown to 1983 during the test, linking to Montauk. His tales of time loops and alien tech were dismissed as fantasy, but they inspired books like The Montauk Project by Peter Moon. The Navy's official stance, reiterated in 1996, is clear. No experiment matching the description occurred. Yet, the lack of transparency in classified projects like the Manhattan keeps skepticism alive. Theories behind the Philadelphia experiment span science, psychology, and the supernatural. At its core, some believe it was a misinterpretation of real degaussing test. Electromagnetic fields could disrupt radar, creating invisibility illusions, with crews' illnesses from radiation mistaken for fusion horrors. Einstein's theory supports bending light via gravity, but 1943 tech couldn't achieve it. Perhaps a failed attempt with Tesla's oscillators caused optical effects or hallucinations. Conspiracists point to Project Rainbow as a classified program for unified field applications, accidentally opening a rift in space-time, teleporting the ship, and scrambling crew atoms. Skeptics counter it's a hoax. Allen's letters were inspired by Joseph's book, exaggerated by Berlitz for profit, with no physical evidence like fused metal or missing sailors. Psychological factors play in. World War II sailors endured stress, leading to tall tales. The Cold War amplified UFO paranoia. Controversies abound. Why did the Navy reprint Jessup's annotated book? Was Allen a disinformation agent? Felix Montauk claims links to alleged mind control, but investigations found no base anomalies. Modern parallels like DARPA's quantum research and cloaking tech echo the myth. Could 1943 have been an early, disastrous trial? Unresolved questions persist. If fake, why the enduring secrecy? If real, what became of the technology? The Philadelphia experiment stands as a testament to human curiosity and fear, a story that refuses to fade despite debunkings. From a wartime whisper to a cultural icon, it warns of unchecked power and hidden truths. No concrete evidence surfaced, but the legend inspires endless debate. Was it a tragic accident, a clever fabrication, or suppressed breakthrough? I know after talking about this, I know what my thoughts are, and I think this is crazy. Like, if you just think about it, if anyone here even believes this, I think you just step back and like really think this through. Like, it's just kind of funny. You've got people vanishing, people turning into the ship, being fused with the ship. Like, could you just imagine that for a second? You're just chilling out in Norfolk, Virginia, and then boom, a ship shows up, people are mangled in it, and then boom, it goes away. Like, of course no one will believe you, but the reality of that happening, I think it's pretty slim to none. But hey, who am I to say anything? I just think, yeah, I think it's just interesting story to talk about. So if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, share it with your friends. I'm a new channel, got a new mic. We're just moving on. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.